In what probably was the worst kept secret of NASCAR silly season, we now know that RFK has obtained Kroger and Ryan Preece. Now I want to look at each one of these things as well as the overarching kind of idea of what's going on here, because I think it's all really interesting for the next season coming up. And let's start with the Kroger side of things. So Kroger will be going over to RFK and be on all three cars. You saw it on the really nice video that RFK posted if you've seen that already, and it'll be playing right now. And they are moving away from JTG. Looks like they're going to be featuring nearly 20 brands on all of these different cars in different ways, the way they did with JTG. But I think it's really interesting because you now have a huge sponsor that is backing RFK. And RFK has been having so many issues from when it was Roush Fenway and even going from Roush of having sponsorship be solid and having those big brands stay. And now they do. They have one of those big brands. This is a huge get. If you remember over the past summer, there were rumors that Kroger and the ownership group there were going over to Joe Gibbs Racing, and Joe Gibbs Racing would have a Kroger car the way that the 47 is. So for RFK to land this is a very big deal, and I think a lot of people need to acknowledge that. It's a big get for Jack Roush, for the Fenway Group, for Brad Keselowski, and them being able to have that kind of stability is a huge building block that this team can stand on. And instead of having to patchwork a lot of stuff together, you're going to have a set amount of races every year for the foreseeable future where you just have Kroger. You're ready to go. You don't have to worry about that side of it, and you can focus your attention, your mind, everything else on other things, which again will be very big for them building wise. But I think the part that all of us are going to be looking at is, of course, the driver. Ryan Preece heading over to the number 60 car full-time as the third RFK Ford. And I get what a lot of people might be thinking right now. A lot of people are going to be on one of two sides with this. On one side, they're going to be saying, hell yeah, Ryan Preece has a shot. He has an awesome car, equipment, backing, all of that. This is his shot. And I get that. When you look at Ryan Preece, when he has a good car behind him, he can lead a ton of laps, he can win races like he has in the Truck Series, and he has shown in other series before that he does have a ton of talent. It's not his fault that Stewart-Haas Racing pretty much fell off a cliff as soon as he signed there, if not a little bit before. And I am excited to see this because I do want to see what Ryan Preece can do. I think he's a great personality. I think he is a really great driver. And I think that this is the opportunity for him. Now, I do fall on that side that is more positive about it. I think that this, though, is his last shot. If he is not able to make it work at RFK, a team that is now competing in the playoffs every single year, winning and competing for wins in races every single year. I mean, just think about this. They were 1/1000th of a second away from both teams winning consecutive races this year with Kansas and Darlington. So there is a lot of upside with this team, and Preece is going to have to perform. He's going to have to at least run top 20, at least compete for a playoff spot, and at least be better than he was at Stewart-Haas Racing at the bare minimum. So I'm excited for him on that side of it. But this is a put up or shut up kind of time. But there's others over here that are saying, hey, Ryan Preece has had his shots before. He's had cars that have seemed pretty decent and underperformed in them. And I understand where people are going with that as well. Hearing the same thing over and over again, saying, this is it. This is the time that Preece is going to be living up to expectations. This is where the upside's going to come in. And you know what? If he doesn't perform again, they're going to be rightfully vindicated because they've been telling people all along that side of it. And this is why I say it is put up or shut up for Ryan Preece. If he is not able to put up and be a competitive NASCAR Cup Series driver with RFK Racing, with full sponsorship support and a team that's on the upswing, then you know what? He might not belong in the Cup Series. He might need to go to the Xfinity or Truck Series or go back down to a regional series. So this is it for me. I will say this is it. I want to see in the next year or two Ryan Preece either be in the playoffs or be competing for it, and if he doesn't get a win, be at least high enough in points that people think he deserves to be in the playoffs the way they did with Chris Buescher this past year. But there's another kind of bigger thing I want to look at here, a wide view of RFK. If you're like me, you grew up with Roush being one of the juggernauts of NASCAR. I came in 2005. They had won their 2 championships the years before with Matt Kenseth in the Winston Cup Latford system, and then in the initial chase with Kurt Busch. And you know what they did the following year in the 10-man chase in 2005? They qualified all 5 at the time of their cars in. And that seems foreign to a lot of people, because Roush, or now RFK, they've generally been a team on the downturn. Since those 5 cars made the playoffs, or the chase, I should say, in that year. Chase sounds so much better. There has been a huge fall off in driver quality, in performance quality, team quality, all of that. Going from 5 cars to 2 in roughly a decade and a half. And they've went from Hall of Famers like the great Matt Kenseth, Kurt Busch, Carl Edwards, Greg Biffle, Mark Martin, so many great drivers, to more middle-of-the-pack drivers or past their prime drivers. And now, with Brad Keselowski being there, this team has, one, an established champion in Brad, but also a younger driver who does have a ton of upside in Chris Buescher. And for the first time in, I don't know how long, probably decades, growth on this team. A team that actually is bigger than it was the year before. Literal just growth in that way. Not just on the racetrack, not just in good vibes, but growth in actual tangible teams. And for me, I love it. I love seeing Roush and RFK, now as it's called, build up and be a competitive team and be one of the top Ford teams again. And when you look at a lot of these legacy-owned teams, these teams that were amazing in the past, like Roush was, when you look at RCR, a team that just cannot get out of its own way, continues to screw itself up every chance it gets. When you look at Legacy Motor Club, which is basically what has become of Petty Enterprises, when you see the Wood brothers be sort of the back of the pack with some pay driver in Harrison Burton and basically be a 4th Penske team and not even their own team. And now you see Roush, while not maybe in the same form it was, but still be able to grow and get itself out. When you see RCR digging a hole and then you see RFK stop digging and climb out of the hole, it feels good for me. I want to see a successful Roush team, even if it is Roush, Fenway, Keselowski. It's still Roush to me. So I'm happy about it. So let me know what you think in the chat. Are you a longtime fan like me who's really happy to see Roush actually look good and have a bright future? Or are you somebody who's a little skeptical about maybe just the team in general or Ryan Preece heading over there? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're at it, leave a like on this video, share this video, and subscribe to this channel for more great and fun NASCAR content. Thank you so much to all my channel members for your continued support, and until next time, have a good one.